Bitcoin has taken a pause or a breather right now, and I'm going to go into the charts and I'm going to show you guys what it is I'm watching and when I'm expecting things to turn around. I'm going to give a shout out to some of my trades that I've shared on the Discord. I'm going to give you guys some additional thoughts about that right now. But here's the thing. Bitcoin is moving up with incredible ease and incredible speed. And somebody said to me today, they're like, Josh, should I be selling my crypto? And it kind of took me by surprise because I thought to myself, we finally got or are getting a little bit of pullback on this initial pump up in the alts, the memes, and the large cap coins. This is when it's time to reorganize and to begin to take positions that you hadn't been taking. No, the initial pump up is just the sign that Bitcoin is alive and healthy and is risen from the dead, coming out of its bear cave from the winter, and is absolutely going to tear things up. The monk is going to take one breath and then he's going to keep climbing higher and higher. Stocks are going to be left holding on to the rope, taking 1 inch at a time. But Bitcoin, man, it has got incredible strength. It's lean, it's mean, and it's absolutely going to go higher in the days ahead. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. Crypto is extremely speculative. You should only consider investing in crypto money that you could afford to lose, but the truth is that it can be said about stocks the same, and Bitcoin makes a lot more sense to me than fiat is, and even bonds, which used to be totally safe in the United States. There are reasons to be doubting the bond market in the next 5 years. Based on the spending of all of the presidents, doesn't matter who's coming or going into the White House, politicians or powerticians love to spend your hard-earned money. But that's not the subject of this video. This is the Stocks with Josh show. I'm going to be talking about Bitcoin. I'm going to be laying down some important charts that you guys need to be looking at with your own eyes. Thank you for joining me. Let's hit those likes, please. It sends the video out to more viewers. If you're new and you're looking for help trading both the stock and crypto markets and getting an eye on what is moving and where it's going, we'd follow the charts here. Price is truth. Hit the subscribe and join this community. All right, let's just start off right now with what I've shared in the last couple of videos about Bitcoin. I've identified 4 stages to the Bitcoin bull phase. The first one is actually coming out of the winter. That's the first signal that Bitcoin needs to go through, and it gave us that. Phase 2 is the breakaway, and phase 3 is when we get back to all-time highs. We've done all 3 of those. Now, we came up to the door and knocked on the parabolic move that is the largest and strongest move, biggest percentage move that Bitcoin will have, which it has not had yet. And we came up right up to that threshold on the Fibonacci and we retraced. I had told everybody 2 or 3 times in a handful of videos that we were going to pull back beneath it, and we have. Now, nobody knows how long this pullback's going to be. I'm going to identify the last pullback that we had. It was under 30 days. And so largely we know that the halving event is in April, and we're here in the month of March 15th. And I think that we could be looking at about 30 days or under for a pullback. Definitely think that we'll get a solid 2 weeks. Now, the good news for that is it allows you to kind of take a fresh look and get anything that you might have been interested in buying on sale. Now, I think that we want to look for a solid 2 weeks to pass, and that's where we're going to potentially get some of our best prices. I've been nibbling, I've been buying, and you say, okay, well, why, Josh? I thought you just said wait 30 days. Because there are early leaders that are already up today that are taking off. I'm going to identify a couple of them to you. And when they're going up, when the rest of the market's coming down, it tells you that when the market begins to go up, they'll go up harder and faster than the rest of them. And those are the ones that I'm going to shout out today. There's a lot of them. I'm going to identify 3 of them for you guys today. But let's just start off with looking at the Bitcoin chart. What else do we need to be looking at? Well, I'm going to keep it really simple. We want to look at the moving average. And the one that I've chosen is the 20 EMA. If we go back in history, we see that after we had the coming out of the winter and the initial pump phase, we got really far away from that 20 EMA. But we began to do a 30-day consolidation and pull back, but we didn't come back and touch it. We got close to it, and then we went on our next big pump up, and it wasn't until the end of the move when we hit all-time highs and began to pull back that we then came under that 20 EMA, signaling that the top had occurred and that the bull cycle was over and that it was time to begin to go short on crypto. So in a real simple view, I'm not expecting us to come back and touch that 20 EMA right now. I'm expecting us to go sideways and give us that nice 30 days of consolidation. And then I'm expecting us to begin the journey of moving towards the all-time high sometime after April. Now, some of this leads us to the question of, Josh, why are we moving so quickly? There is the theory right now of an accelerated Bitcoin cycle, and it simply means that the markup phase that we would normally get after the halving, we triggered it early because of the investment firm's spot ETF. It just simply kicked things off sooner and quicker. Now, there's a lot of questions that we don't have answered yet. One, does that mean that we're even going to go higher when the halving event occurs? Or does it just simply mean that we have kicked things off sooner? At the moment, the only thing I'm convinced about is that we have simply initiated the bull cycle sooner, and we've got to ultimately make some milestones in price to convince me that this is going to be a super cycle for Bitcoin, which that's a whole other conversation. What's a super cycle? It's when the cycle of diminishing returns breaks to the upside and begins to repeat itself. So when Bitcoin initially came out, it went up 15,000%. Then the following cycle, it went up 6,000%. And then the last cycle, it went up 600%. Well, a lot of people are expecting it to only go up around 300% this particular cycle. But if we blast past 600%, then it would be a confirmation that this might be the super cycle that some had looked for in the next cycle. It might be happening right now. So there's a lot to watch on Bitcoin. The full story is not understood. I'm just doing the best I can to give you the things I'm looking at. Let's look at a couple others. So the next thing I want you guys to have on your target is where Bitcoin might pull back to. And I think we're going to get a pullback to the golden pocket zone. That's often where we see reversal of price. And in my mind, or in my view, how I've drawn the lines, puts that around 62 to 59,000. So that's where I think we could ultimately come back to. And you guys let me know in the comments section if you've drawn it differently. I drew it a couple different ways. And based on that indicator and a couple others, I felt that that was the zone that I feel we might see a reversal in, 62 to 59. May end up being 61, we'll see. Could be 58. But either way, I don't see us going much lower than that. And then the final chart I want you guys to be keeping your eyes on is the Bitcoin Stochastic RSI. I haven't mentioned this one too much, but here's what's important. This measures momentum, overbought conditions, and this thing can go all the way up to 100. And guess what? Bitcoin, just like that monk at the beginning, was going up with such incredible ease. He didn't need to hold on to a rope, didn't need to take too many breaths or breathe deeply. He wasn't out of breath. The stochastic RSI went up to 100%. It means it couldn't go up any faster. Now, when we've seen that in the past, it typically brings an end to the upward move. That's what we saw. And then what's going to happen next? Well, we want to see the stochastic RSI line. We want to see it go sideways. And then we want to see it pull back. And I think that when it comes back to 80, which is where I think that we will then initiate the next pump. Honestly, folks, for those who are trying to figure out what's happening right now, it's my opinion, just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not a suggestion for what you should buy, sell, or hold. But it's in my opinion that we have simply, the monk has paused for a minute, taken a few breaths, and is getting ready to crest the hill. Stage 4 of the parabolic Bitcoin move. And what all of this means is it's time to reorganize your portfolios and potentially buy some things that you didn't have in your portfolio, potentially drop some dogs that have been underperforming while other things have been going up 100%, 200%. Why are you holding on to some of those cryptos that have gone up 20 or 30%? Those are dogs in the crypto world. And, we're going to talk about some meme coins. And I'm not going to apologize for talking about the meme coins because the money is flowing into the meme coins. And you know what? It's been a very profitable area. And on that point, SHIB, Doge, Bonk, Cockinu, PEPE, all of these tokens, FLOKI, these are going to have another surge. And in my mind, it's going to be equal to the surge that brought us out of the winter. at bare minimum. And that's how I'm positioning myself for investment. All right, let me just take a very quick station break for a couple things. One, guys, hit the like if you liked what you've heard so far and you intend to listen to the rest of the video. Throw in the like now. This is an intermission for likes. And then I want you guys, if you're trying to figure out how to buy some of these meme coins that are not on Coinbase, the path that I've chosen for myself is an account with MEXC. MEXC. There's a link in the description of the video as well as the top pinned comment. But let me explain a few things about it. If you're in the United States, you need to use a NORD VPN software application, which conceals where your internet router is coming from so that the company that you're signing up with can't see where you're at. What you do is you point it to a different country. There's a list of countries and you can choose a country. I happen to choose Brazil. So I point my router outside the country so that I can access this MEXC application so that I can buy my meme coins. I'm simply using this platform to trade short-term trading. I'm not doing heavy investment. I'm not holding my long-term cryptos on this platform, but this one has been the easiest to work with. It's actually the largest exchange that doesn't require KYC, that's outside the country, that will give access to these early meme coins. And so there's a lot of reasons why I chose this one in particular. And that's a link in the top pinned comment. You need the MEXC link, plus you need the NORD VPN link. You want to get NORD VPN service first, and then you want to sign up for MEXC. And one more small detail, they'll ask you, like a lot of apps do, if you want to give them your current location. You deny that. You say no when you're setting that up. And even if you did it wrong initially, you can go back and do it correctly and it'll all go through. There shouldn't be any problem. Now, I would keep in mind, crypto is still the wild, wild west. This is not a wholesale endorsement of anything. You have to be sharp and vigilant, and you want to make good decisions. And if you have any questions for this in the comment section, feel free to ask me. Okay. In the Discord this morning, I also did a shout out for AVAX, and I'm going to get into that in just a minute. One of the few cryptos that was driving up today when everything else was driving down. And so what I'm telling you guys about that is that means crypto portfolio reorganization. If you want to get the best cryptos into your portfolio, watch what happens when you get to a downturn. Most of the things that are going up, unless they're going up on some unusual news story, if they're simply just going up, a lot of times it's because these are going to be future winners. And let me just underline that point 100%. When Bitcoin goes into a sideways price action movement, when it consolidates and pulls back, that's when the alts can run. We can have a mini alt season, not the big alt season that will come after Bitcoin peaks, but it's a mini alt season. And that's what I'm expecting. As soon as Bitcoin stops going down or has its biggest percentage move down and begins to just vacillate towards the bottom of its range, very early on, we're going to begin to see some of the altcoins fully recovered to where they were before Bitcoin fell and starting to move on to higher prices. So this is your alert to begin to look seriously at the alts and prepare for some kind of a move there. The other two that stood out to me today that I want you guys to be looking at more seriously is Solana, right? And if you recall, when Bitcoin was sort of moving up and people weren't sure exactly if it was going to be going as high as it was or whether we should be waiting for the halving event, Solana was leading the way. Solana was just going higher and higher and higher. What's happening today? A little bit of pause on Bitcoin, and Solana yet again is leading the way, which means that this one is, at least in my opinion, possibly going to get back to all-time highs, which would be an incredible move that, I'll be honest with you, back in the winter, if you had told me that Solana would be back potentially on its way to all-time highs, I wouldn't have believed you. But you know, a lot's transpired. I've come to really respect the founder of Solana. That dude is he's like a cat. He's got 9 lives. I think he can survive anything. And if he's at the helm of Solana, I'm going to be a strong believer in them. They definitely deserve to be in the spot that they're in. Even when the tech doesn't work and, it freezes up, he somehow makes everybody believe that this is future of cryptocurrency. So then you've got SEI, SEI. Yeah, maybe you pronounce it Psy. I don't know. But this is one that I've been slowly adding to. This is a newer coin. It wasn't a part of the last crypto cycle, and it's doing really well today. I've been a believer in it, and I'm now getting more confidence on its price action performance in this type of environment. And so I turned around and dropped another big bag on this today. And with the bags I've dropped, I'm thinking of doubling my position. I'm going to give it a little bit of time. Don't have to buy everything in one day. I talked about it in a recent video that people get some money and they just can't stand to hold it when they're new traders and new investors. They're thinking, well, I got this money so I could put it in the market so I could get my payday coming sooner. Well, your payday from your investments may not come sooner if you put it in prematurely. It may come later, much later, because you might be buying a higher price and there needs to be some time for it to come down. So I hope that helps you guys today. So yes, put those ones on your watch list. You know, right now, we're going to see what it does. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate the likes that you gave me. I know that some of you would like the video more than once if you could. Throw a heart in the comments for me and I'll try to respond back to you. As always, peace and blessings. Take care.